Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as was the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night, or if you guys are out there in the world. So a lot has changed in the last 24 hours. Chaos has erupted all over X, all over YouTube, you name it. So let's actually address a few things. Let's talk about it. I figured I would do a long live stream. We're going to be live streaming for about roughly an hour today. I want to go over a lot of things and really kind of, just talk to you guys a little bit about what I expect going forward on in this market. I see a lot of fear. I see a lot of, uncertainty, a little bit of panic, and typically these times in this market, they're really not easy. Go back to FTX for an example. I remember when FTX imploded and it felt as if the entire market was done, because if you read the sentiment all over X, for an example, what I saw was post after post talking about how Binance and Coinbase and Kraken, all of these exchanges, they're the next ones to fall. This is why you will never really know when the bottom is in, because when we get close to it, or when we are at it, what you will see is everyone on X talking about how the next leg is loading. That's it. Bitcoin's going down here. Bitcoin's going down here, right? You'll constantly see that. You'll never know when the bottom is in. But I want to stress that real quick before I really kind of continue, because right now, we just saw Bitcoin wick down to like 59K yet again. This is what most of the market looks like on the 24-hour span. There's some green, but for the most part, this is what most of the market looks like, right? It's pretty much red. It's a bloody day in crypto, and the last week has been very rough for crypto regardless. Even outside of altcoins, it's not just Bitcoin. It's outside of Bitcoin, it's pretty much the entire altcoin market. But this is what the last 7 days looks like in crypto for Bitcoin. I mean, back here, we were at $70,700, and that was just roughly 6 days ago now. This is where we are at just recently, 59.7K. I mean, it's a night and day difference, and this is the price movement that will shake a lot of people out. And I'm not saying that this is the last major shakeout, because listen, shakeouts will happen along the way. I mean, just go back to the 2021 bull run. I mean, there were shakeouts along the way to the top, and you never knew when the top was actually in, because just like the bottom will never feel like the bottom, the top will never feel like the top. That's why I always say, like, you're never going to buy the exact bottom. You're never going to buy the exact top either. Or sell the exact top, sorry. But when we look at this market, I want to address the fear and greed index a little bit. I've talked a little bit about how I don't really follow this too much, and I don't really gauge this to make my overall assessment of where the market is headed, because it is a very... It's one of those things that it's almost like RSI. If you followed RSI in terms of an indicator back in 2023... then you would be pretty much sidelined right now. Not only that, but Solana, if you looked at Solana, RSI was already peaking at overbought levels back in January of 2023. It continued to absolutely rip going forward on for like almost a whole year. That's why I don't really look at a lot of these indicators and I put a lot of weight behind them, because again, they're not extremely confident in terms of, all right, well, fear and greed is telling us that we're in extreme greed, so that means that we have to sell off, right? It's wrong. But let's actually look at the fear and greed index, because this is what it looks like right now, just to give you guys a quick insight, because I know that it's going to look a little bit rough over here. It's going to look pretty small if you are on a mobile device, but regardless, this is where we are at right now. And I said it in yesterday's video as well. When we look at the fear and greed index, this is where we were at back in January, right? Like 50, we were pretty much neutral. We just tapped on the low here at about roughly like 55.3. So it's right around the same range. Now, what happened in February? Well, we rallied massively into extreme greed back in March. Then we sold off. And that's where we are at right now. right? We're already starting to see a lot of talks about, oh, that was it. The macro is here. Everything's bearish. Crypto's not going to perform well. All this kind of nonsense. And we constantly see this happen every single time that there's a major sell-off. By the way, thank you, Angus, for the $10 super chat. I do appreciate you greatly. Welcome in. Welcome in, everyone, by the way. Again, this is like the first live stream, I want to say, in probably about, I think it was like maybe a month now. I do want to start doing a live stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I got to see how things are. Life has been pretty busy lately, so I do apologize for the lack of live streams, but regardless, I do want to get back into it heavily and do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as well. But regardless, I've been seeing a lot of bearish posts about altcoins, specifically how they missed out on the alt season. And it's kind of comical because when you look at Bitcoin dominance and the share that Bitcoin has had in this market and altcoins as well, it's crazy to me because alt season didn't even start small at all. Like, alt season is non-existent right now. Majority of the altcoin market, and I said this multiple times, they're 50 to like 80% away from all-time highs still, even on this recent rally, outside of course the dip, because now they're even lower than 50 to 80%, but they were about like 50 to 80% from all-time highs. The last time I checked, that's not alt season. In fact, that's just a rally off of the lows in the bear market. It's very easy to, say, oh, well, this altcoin's going absolutely crazy. Yeah, it sold off over 90+% in the bear market. So now that it's up 50, 80%, maybe even a couple 100%, it's still 50 to 80% away from all-time highs. And this is where a lot of people kind of get confused on in terms of price action within altcoins. Right now, even if we do go to the top gainers and losers, there's still altcoins pumping in the top 500. They're up 70+%. Does this mean that alt season's happening? No. In fact, I would argue the opposite. We are still very well in a heavy Bitcoin market because Bitcoin dominance is still over 50+%. Even in the top altcoins, look at this. Meme coins are still going crazy. Even at a time where it's so uncertain, nobody knows what's going to happen. But this is why I say, there's always going to be there's always going to be that one coin that's pumping when your coin isn't. You can't compare and contrast altcoins like that. The main thing to focus on with altcoins and even alt season is Bitcoin dominance. Right now, this is what Bitcoin dominance looks like. Is this topped out? No. In fact, it's been riding support. It's been riding a trend. I've been watching Bitcoin dominance since we initially broke out back here in, it was like April 10th, April 11th. And then April 12th really kind of confirmed that, guess what? Bitcoin dominance is breaking out in a very large way, and this is it. Now, with this, does this mean that altcoins are never going to pump? No. I've been seeing a lot of questions about this. And, I think that education around the space is crucial. Everyone should know what moves their bags. It's very simple, right? I've shared this path to alt season multiple times, and it's one of the greatest charts to really kind of study, remember, and focus on. Because when you're holding something like XRP, for an example, right? XRP, it's not really moving. XRP is a lagger. It lags behind the entire market. It doesn't move heavy until the last level of altcoin season. XRP lags, just as though, if you look at, Bitcoin Cash and some of these other OG tokens, they lag behind the market because majority of them are large cap gems. We still have to go through two phases, which is the Bitcoin phase, the Ethereum phase, and then that's when the large caps get it. But we're not there yet. In fact, Ethereum, we didn't even hear talks about Ethereum flipping, Bitcoin. We didn't hear that. Again, everyone needs to focus on this chart because it's not so much about, oh, I'll just buy Bitcoin, I'll sell Bitcoin, I'll go into Ethereum, I'll sell Ethereum. No, but you should be positioned in altcoins even in the bear market. the best way to look at this space isn't so much by, oh, it's going to follow this to the exact point. No, but the best part about it is even if it does follow this, you're still positioned. If it doesn't follow this, you're still positioned. Having altcoins already there in your bags, having your bags packed before the halving, before the retail crowd is in, it's the best thing that you can do. I've said it multiple times already. The way that I'm gauging this market right now, I'm already in my long-term bags. My bags are already packed. I'm still maintaining that 10 to 15% ratio in stablecoins. A lot of people question why I hold stablecoins instead of just like, oh, why don't you just buy, the market? Why don't you just openly buy the market when the drop comes? Stablecoins on the sidelines allows you to be positioned prior to any significant move in the market. This also means that those coins are already there. Those stable coins are already there. It's already out of your bank account. You don't have to worry about it settling or anything like that. And also, it allows you to make significant buy orders and you could just forget about them. You don't have to sit there waiting for a specific price. You don't have to, sit there, impulsively buy in the market. You could just wait patiently. But outside of this, right, let's talk about a few things. Let's talk about the Bitcoin halving that everyone has been talking about for the last, week or so. The Bitcoin halving is one of those events that is always talked up. It's always talked about in the sense of like, oh, it's a huge event. This is going to cause the entire market to erupt. I don't know who needs to tell you this, but the Bitcoin halving is typically a sell the news event. We're roughly about 20 hours away from this. Again, Bitcoin halving, it's not a big event. It's not this massive thing. But typically what happens after the Bitcoin halving is altcoins going crazy, which we'll also talk about in this video. So let's move forward a little bit. The Bitcoin halving, it's already bringing in the herd. How do I know this? Go look at all of the mainstream media. Here's the New York Times. Countdown is on for the Bitcoin halving. They're already talking about it. And again, they're even saying that it's going to cause the price of the cryptocurrency to skyrocket. Again, they're already reeling them in, trying to get the retail crowd back in. This happens every single time. Outside of this, the halving. Bitcoin Bros, World Cup is nigh. This is from CNN Business. You can clearly see how they are trying to get everyone in on it. The mainstream media is already beginning. Now, outside of this, we also have Bitcoin halving, seen mostly priced in by JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank. This was on Bloomberg. Now, regardless of if you think that it's priced in or whatever, like I said, the Bitcoin halving, majority of the time, it does sell off. Is that sell-off priced in? We don't know. But what we recently just saw is something that kind of changed the entire market sentiment. Because as mainstream media is trying to bring in the herd, we also got the announcement today of some pretty big news. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to address it. But first, I want to talk to you guys about this chart that I posted on April 17th. I said the next demand zone has a high probability of being the next target for Bitcoin. We lost 61K today, but held 60K. The key level for Bitcoin to reclaim is $67,000, which we haven't reclaimed since the initial pullback. Let's see what the rest of the week looks like. But for now, I'm still expecting lower. This was on the 17th. This is what the chart looked like at that time. We were at $65,000, like $300 or whatever. I said, ultimately speaking, the next demand zone would be 50 to 53K. Now, with this is the chart today. One, we're still maintaining this lower level. This level is still holding down here above 61K. A daily candle close below 61K will tell us everything that we need to know and will pretty much confirm that this level down here, this 50K to 50, roughly almost 3K, this level will be targeted. All right. With that in mind, this is what happened today. So I said, looks like the DXY is currently breaking out. while we get reports of Israel attacking Iran. Yes, this is a big event. Yes, everyone is talking about it heavily. We're starting to see the fear post all over X. Everyone's talking about what's next. You know, again, when we talk about geopolitical events like this, the best thing to do is not so much think about how it's going to affect the market, but think about what happens after these things happen. One, if we do go to war, what's going to happen next? Does the charts even matter? I've always said this time and time again. When we're talking about something like World War III, do charts even matter? Does this market even matter? No, it doesn't. In my opinion, as we look at the idea of war happening during an election year, one thing comes to mind. Why are we going to war? Why is this a big narrative? Why is this headline being pushed? Go back to 2022 when we really kind of pulled the trigger on a lot of these things. In my opinion, a lot of what we are seeing right now is a major shakeout. It happens directly at times where we are at either resistance, the charts looked overcooked, things like that. But there's a great post actually that I reposted, which I'm going to address when we look at geopolitical events. All right. I said here that gold and oil futures just surged. Watch closely for the market open. Did I mention that Bitcoin halving is less than 24 hours away? All right. You might be asking why this is important. Well, it's because it's a sell the news event anyways, and it typically is. So much uncertainty. The war narrative is only growing louder, and it seems like tomorrow we will see major markets sell off heavily. That's the overall expectation. A major crash into the weekend is a high probability, with Bitcoin hitting my next demand zone that I've been mentioning, 50 to 53K. Don't fight it, just let it happen. Now, most people will say the bottom is in. Majority are still expecting lower. And like I said, that would be the high probability. That would be the thing that everyone should be expecting, is we go lower. But what if we don't in this short term? This is what the DXY looks like right now. This is the US dollar index, and it just recently broke over the key level, the 106 level. We're still at levels where we would have a major rejection. This entire area here, as you guys do see back in 2023, this is all where rejections would happen on the DXY, and we are basically in that level. The thing to watch for is if we actually get a daily candle close over roughly the 107 level. That's the key target on the DXY. Now, am I too concerned with this? Not exactly. In fact, if we do have a continuation on this chart, the top up here is what I'm really kind of looking at, roughly 109 to 110. This would ultimately allow for Bitcoin to also go significantly lower on the charts, but it's going to take some time for that to actually happen. But outside of the DXY chart, we're kind of starting to see bearish posts already happening on mainstream media as well. The Wall Street Journal, Grayscale's once mighty fund is bleeding Bitcoin, and this is because of the prices around Bitcoin. Followed by JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon renews attack on Bitcoin, calls it fraud. Again, when we look at the narrative right now, when we look at some of these charts, there's a lot of bearish indicators, but there's also hidden bullish indicators here. When mainstream media starts pushing the bearish news and talking about things like, oh, Jamie Dimon is now talking about Bitcoin, he's calling it a fraud, you really kind of question, what are they doing behind the scenes? Typically, when we have Jamie Dimon or any major bank CEO saying that Bitcoin's a fraud or crypto's this, crypto's that, they are doing the opposite of what you expect to do with whatever they're pushing. So if they're calling it a fraud, you're thinking sell. But you should technically actually do the opposite, because that's what they are doing. And we know this from prior patterns. But this is the chart that I recently reposted from Credible Crypto. And in fact, he actually put out a great post as well regarding the geopolitical events. This is the post that I actually shared over on X, because It is something that, in my opinion, you should all be watching. And this is something that I personally look at and I'm like, this makes sense. This makes a lot of sense, especially if you are in this market, if you're holding a lot of altcoins, if you have a lot of money tied to this market or any market for that instance. So we have, don't really care about geopolitical events when it comes to how I play the market. If they are going to affect the market, we will see it in the charts. If they are not, we won't. We have our levels of interest and invalidation, and that's all we need. If we break down, we know where we can expect to stop bleeding. If we break up, we know where we can expect to stop pumping. If we don't know what to expect, we sit on our hands. Simple. You need a framework and a structure with which you approach these markets. Emotionally reacting to every headline you see isn't it. And this is something that I cannot tell you all enough. When you look at this market right now, what are your emotions telling you? When you start to see the war narrative being pushed, what are your emotions telling you? Well, they're telling you, oh, well, we're about to go lower. I have to get out. I have to get out, right? This is the problem with utilizing markets to make money while providing money to begin with, and then also having emotions tied to it. When you're playing with money, emotions are at all-time highs. You walk into a casino, for an example, with $1,000. You know that $1,000 in your hand is probably going to go to zero in the casino. With investing, it can go either way. You can make $10,000, or you could even lose all of it. When you go into a casino, you're already anticipating, all right, this money's probably gone, but the best thing about a casino is that it plays within dopamine levels. So the entire time you're chasing, you're feeling great. And then all of a sudden it takes everything away from you and you feel terrible. Emotions are always tied to significant amounts of money, whether that be $1,000, $10,000, whatever the case may be. With investing, I always say keep emotions out of the game. Investing is not where emotions should be. I've always said this even when it comes to XRP. A lot of people have emotions tied to their XRP bags. If tomorrow you couldn't, I always give scenarios. If tomorrow I said, all right, you should all sell your XRP because X, Y, and Z, would you sell that XRP bag? Or are you emotionally tied to that bag? First off, I would never listen to anyone on YouTube or anywhere to sell anything. But in a hypothetical scenario, if you saw a post saying, all right, the SEC won against Ripple, XRP is now a security, would that make you sell your XRP bag, or would it make you hodl that bag? Well, it all depends on how much money's tied to it. It all depends on how many, emotions are tied to that bag. Again, there's so many things that go into an investment. When we look at this market, the number one thing that I've always said is keep emotions out, because emotions will make you tie yourselves to bags that you don't want to hold. It will tie yourselves to, losers. I always say cut losers early in this market if you want to be successful, because there's a lot of altcoins that are just not worth holding because majority of them will go to zero. When it comes to XRP, it's a little bit different. I've talked about XRP on multiple occasions. I've done so much research behind XRP. I think that XRP is one of those blue chips that will be around for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It's one of the safest bets in this space, in my opinion. Does it still have risk tied to it? 100%. But when we look at the space, I see a lot of people playing with emotions. I see a lot of people that have been around for a while that are still emotionally tied to the space. I have become extremely cold to any movement in this market. If I see my portfolio lose 50% overnight, I'm cold to it. If I see my portfolio, gain 50% overnight, I'm still extremely cold to it. Emotions go both ways. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, you can't be emotional on these days where it's red. You also can't be emotional on the days where it's green either. If you're sitting there and you're trying to screenshot your portfolio to share to friends because you're extremely euphoric, that defeats the purpose. You're not here to, be extremely happy. You're here to change your lives, and it's not bragging rights, right? It's You want to change your life, and the best way to do that is by not being emotionally attached, not having emotions in this game, and making sure that you can go through the green and even the red days without any emotions. You have to be ice cold regardless of what the price action is telling you to do. Because being extremely excited also makes you make bad decisions. It's the same exact thing in the casino, right? When you're winning, it feels like you're on top of the world. You cannot lose. And all of a sudden, in one go, everything gets wiped. It's exactly how this market plays too. During the bull run, when we're getting close to that top, it feels like it's not going to stop. It feels like altcoins are going to continue to go and go and go and go. And you're like, wow, this is just going to keep going up. It's up only. Because you're emotionally attached. If there's life-changing wealth in front of you, why not take that? Why not secure that? Don't be emotionally attached on both sides of the market. But outside of this, right? Headline articles play right into emotions. But regardless, how are we gauging this market? What are we expecting in this market? Well, the reason why I brought up emotions is because it's actually a big key indicator of what comes next. There's a post by Credible Crypto, and it's a chart. And he put this out. He's been talking about this for a little bit of time. A lot of people have been addressing this. They've been asking me about it. What do I think about this assessment of the market? And realistically speaking, I put out my thought process on this, right? What I said regarding this chart, because this is, us basically ranging at this low that we're at. And currently speaking, this is what Bitcoin looks like. We're ranging still here. This is not a bearish formation yet, because we did not lose this support zone. We did not close below 61K. So now we're just still ranging here. The next move could very well be this. But what he posted was a chart of us basically ranging on the support level, having an impulsive move to about roughly 69, 70K, this red zone up here, and then selling off. I did not watch his video, so I can't speak on his video because a lot of people said that I should watch his video. I didn't get to do that. The big thing that I'm looking at here is I said, looking at this chart right now, I do notice something very interesting on why this could play out perfectly. I said, everyone is expecting lower right now. What if we bounce significantly instead and tap around 70K like Cred has on this chart? Again, let me show you guys the chart real quick. This is what it looks like. If we're going to tap that 70K level, what is everyone going to think? What's everyone thinking in that process? Well, they're saying, all right, well, now it's time. We're going much higher. Again, think emotions at this point. What are the emotions going to tell people? If we're going to break to 70K, what they're saying, 74K is next, 80K is next, 100K is next. It would crush late shorts and even liquidate high leveraged shorts too. It would also make the majority think that we are going higher in the short term. At the same exact time, guess what comes next? Well, I'm not sure what Cred is thinking. I didn't get to watch his recent videos, but this could be when we punish the majority. How so? Well, this could be the moment where we finally target that demand zone I mentioned, the mid 50K region. Because again, going back to my initial view here, right? Over here, I said that we have a high probability of the next target being the 50 to 53K level on Bitcoin, that demand zone. But if it's a high probability and everyone's expecting it, wouldn't we just do the opposite of that? It would make sense because it would catch a lot of people off guard. That's the thing that you really have to think about is, what is the majority thinking? What do we actually do? Typically the opposite of what everyone is expecting happens. But that's why when I look at this, right, that could be the moment where we do tap that mid 50K region. Imagine how many longs would be wiped out. It catches both sides off guard, bears and bulls. Both will be targeted. The entire market will be shook. anything is possible. I could be wrong, cred could be wrong, etc. We take this market day by day and focus on the key levels. And again, I stress this, right? I'm not sitting here telling you guys that I'm an expert or I'm a professional at this at all. No, I'm not. Listen, I will be the first one to admit to you guys that, you know, I'm not on here claiming that I know everything. I know exactly what's going to happen, because I don't. All right. I could easily be wrong tomorrow. Everyone could be wrong. That's why we don't make irrational decisions off what you are told, what you're being, you know, told by anyone online. But when we look at this space right now, wouldn't the best scenario for playing both sides in terms of the emotions that are at all-time highs, wouldn't the, you know, best part about this, and when I say the best part, I mean like the max pain scenario, be ranging here while everyone's expecting lower. We go up, we tap this level of resistance right around here, right? Like this entire level up here is like resistance. And then everyone up here is saying, all right, well, that's it. We're going higher. We're going higher. And then guess what? We sell off. We come back down to this demand zone down here. And then that's when everyone thinks that the market's doomed. Everyone's like, all right, well, that's it. We're done. And then we go crazy. Wouldn't that be the most probable scenario to target both sides? It would be max pain. It would absolutely kill market sentiment as well. Bears will be posting all day long. Because again, when we look at what the bears are talking about, when we look at what the bears have been posting, they have always said like, oh, well, we're right. We have been right all along, even though we know that they haven't been. They've been bearish all the way up to 70K, 70, like 4K almost. And that's when everyone will say, all right, well, the bears have won. The bears were right. And then guess what? We go crazy. We top out 80 to 100K. I might be wrong on that, right? But that's my original targets on Bitcoin. And during this time, where are altcoins at? Well, this has been my chart on altcoins for a while now. I've shared it with you guys on the past like 2-3 videos, I believe. This is my thought process on altcoins right now. We have this sell off back down into this bottom trend line, the impulsive move off of that bottom trend line back up to the top trend line. And this is macro, right? Like these are macro trend lines that we have been just kind of ranging on. But after we tap that upper level, we retest that lower trend line one last time, and then we go crazy. That would be alt season. This is alt season here. And how do we get there? Well, like I said, we shake the market to its core. We make sure that everyone that is weak-handed, that has emotions tied to this space, they're shaken out. The best way to shake them out is, well, we reel them in, thinking that's it. The bottom's in, sell off massively, and then during this time when majority are out, they think that it's the end of the world. Bitcoin goes to new all-time highs. Again, this would be the breakout of altcoins, because the altcoin market will range. While Bitcoin is trying to find its bottom and trying to break out, the altcoin market will range. It's the same exact way that if we look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, this thing has been ranging. We have been waiting for a big breakout on this. So if we look at where altcoins are and also Bitcoin are, this seems like the most probable scenario going forward. And this shouldn't scare you. In fact, this should make you excited. Because although my original target on Bitcoin is 80 to 100K, the lower that we go, the higher that we go. Also, big shout out to Stuart Lavelle for that. I appreciate, I think that's a 10 Australian dollar super chat. I appreciate you greatly, Stuart. Also, big shout out to everyone that is in the chat right now, that is watching. I appreciate every single damn one of you. I truly hope that everyone, by the end of this cycle, has their lives changed. I hope that you meet your goals. Again, we're all targeting the opportunity here to change our lives significantly. get debt free, live financially free. It's all about time. We're not here to buy Lambos. We're not here to go out and, buy a $300,000 watch. We are here to buy time. And the best way to do that is by making our wealth and putting that wealth to work. That's it. Let me check out some of the chats here. So we have Yo Nick. What do you think about the top analyst that put XRP at $20 to $25? Well, let's put it this way. XRP back in 2020 into 2021, a lot of analysts were talking about XRP going to $20 to $30. Okay. And just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a perspective of how I got wrecked back in 2020, I had about 70 to 75% of my portfolio in XRP. I was a big believer in XRP back in 2020, just as much as I am now. And what ended up happening was, I was expecting the $10 to $20 range being targeted on XRP. I was saying this is going to be a huge moment for XRP and the XRP community. We haven't had a, proper major run up since 2017, 2018, and 2020 into 2021 is going to be one of the biggest bull runs, right? Well, guess what ended up happening? The lawsuit. 70% of my portfolio was allocated to XRP, and I got completely wiped out right before the big alt season happened. And XRP continued to range on. It did not hit the targets that it was supposed to hit. And it was a major, major L for the XRP community, including even myself. When we look at the $20 to $30 targets on XRP yet again, one of the big things to really kind of focus on is price predictions are a dime a dozen. I can come on here to tell you guys that XRP is going to $50. Does that mean that XRP is going to $50? No, doesn't. And who am I to tell you that, XRP is going to $50? What kind of information do I have? Price predictions are simply just what they are, a prediction. Just like anyone can predict anything, it doesn't mean that it has to happen. By the way, big shout out to MMP for that $5. Been watching your pre-recorded videos for years. Good job with the live stream. Thank you. I appreciate you, MMP. Going to try to do more live streams going forward. But yeah, in terms of the $20 to $25 XRP, I think it's the same exact scenario of the $20 to $30 XRP. I think that this time around, things are a little bit more different. There's a lot more that has been built out. The XRP ledger has been absolutely killing it. But the big thing that we need to address is, are we going to just hold XRP all the way to $20 to $25? No, we're not, right? We're going to make sure that we are taking profits along the way and making sure that we are paying ourselves. And if we do get that $20 to $25 level getting tapped, well, guess what? We're going to make sure that we have a moon bag on the sidelines. The crypto market will be in a slump into mid-June. I don't know if we will. I do think that we will kind of range a little bit before the big move, but I do think that we could be in for some nice movement in the middle of May into June. It doesn't necessarily need to have this massive slump into June. Even these moves on this this chart, guys, these moves on this chart could happen very quick. Don't overlook how fast crypto really moves. Let me see some of these other chats. See a lot of people, I appreciate all of you guys. I see a lot of you saying I'm killing it. Let's go. I appreciate your honesty and stuff. Guys, I appreciate all of you. Listen, this channel would be nothing without all of you. Why do I continue to make videos every single day? Why do I continue to, come on here and talk to you guys? It's because I appreciate every single one of you. And it's truly a blessing, and it really kind of inspires me to continue going every single day. Just, seeing all of you guys show up and just, show support to the channel. It's truly something that I cannot even express in words on how much I appreciate it and how grateful I actually am. And then we also have a few other comments here. Yeah, then the SEC came. You can't just blame that on XRP, but this time so different. Yeah, it is. I can't blame XRP at all for its price action. I mean, realistically speaking, even if we go over to XRP right now, this is what the XRP chart looks like. So let's look at this real quick. So I said, we could very well range on this level that we're at now. So let's actually kind of zoom out a little bit. So I have two scenarios on this chart, and I think that maybe it's a little bit better on the weekly. So here's what the weekly looks like. So I said either we have this range up here at about roughly 46.5 cents, which was the level that we were actually kind of ranging on right before the big move back in July, which actually put us into the scenario of, all right, well, are we going to 92 cents, or are we going to have a much larger breakout? Well, guess what? We never really got that much larger breakout because we hit a significant level of resistance, which is like 75 cents on the weekly. We needed to actually clear that and close above it on the weekly. We never got that, so we just continued to downtrend and range sideways on a more macro view for the next couple weeks. This is what I'm really kind of looking at on XRP. Don't expect this bottom level to be tapped, but 33 cents to 39 cents could still be a target on this chart that could be tapped. I'm not overlooking this, and I'm not saying like this is guaranteed to happen, but it's a level that could be a possibility. This is not to scare anyone or anything like that, but I'm just saying that this is a possibility. But when we look at this, could we also do this move up here where we just kind of range here and then break out? Yeah, we 100% could. But down here, if we get this level on XRP tapped, this would be the same significant level of the SEC lawsuit timeframe back here in 2020. And again, it will look just like this, where we have a significant wick below this, wicking this level down here. So if we do get that level, that would be the big moment of opportunity for anyone that wanted to buy XRP at like generational lows. This is the area that you really want to watch for if we do get it. Again, it doesn't necessarily need to happen, but it is a level that could possibly be targeted. But outside of that, the trend line still needs to be lost. We still need a weekly candle close below this trend line in terms of this actually being a confirmation of us going down to this level. I've also been looking at this on the daily. So far, the daily looks perfect. We had that significant tap of the trend line already, and we bounced off of it significantly. So unless this trend line is lost on the daily, I'm not expecting this lower level. But that's why I always say, like, anything is possibility, and is a possibility, and you should prepare for either scenario, whether we have a range here and then we break to the upside, or we continue lower. But like I said on Bitcoin, I'm expecting us to actually range to the upside here, fake out the market, and then sell off heavily, and then fake out the market on the downside to the upside. Well, let me check out some of the other comments here. So we have a few other people talking a little bit about the price action, and also the price action into the summertime. Prices also held back slightly. Yeah, I mean, listen, when we look at majority of this market, we're not even scratching the surface of utilization. I think that's one of the biggest problems with XRP is, like, you have a lot of these YouTubers now that are talking about like how XRP is utilized for like trillions of dollars right now. Guys, XRP is not being utilized for trillions of dollars. In fact, XRP is utilized for like the lower billion-dollar figures right now. It's not being utilized at massive scale or anything like that. But that should actually get everyone excited, because if we're here before those big moves actually happen, it's going to be something to definitely watch for. And I see a lot of people talking about like the private ledger. Guys, the private ledger does not matter. XRP, there's no private XRP. That's just a ridiculous comment. Like, when I see a lot of people talking about like the private ledger, I really want to know where they heard this from, because there's a lot of clowns around the XRP community that have been pushing this like crazy idea around how there's like a private XRP that's worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And when we really look at that private ledger, XRP, the public XRP that you're seeing right now on the chart, can be utilized in both the private ledger and the public ledger. There's no private XRP that's being utilized. It's just a ridiculous idea. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, well, the real value of XRP is going to be worth like $10,000 because the private XRP, it's just nonsense. Also, by the way, Joshua Jake, no hate towards them. I just have a lot of things that I do disagree with them on. XRP is definitely one of those. I'm not going to go in depth on it. There's a lot of negativity around the XRP space, and it seems as though a lot of the negativity being pushed around XRP is also coming from individuals in the space that are not very good actors. And I'm just going to leave it at that and not say too much. But regardless, XRP has been one of the most hated coins in this space for a very long time. And, it's just one of those altcoins that when you really look at the past, you look at the patterns around it, typically that FUD, that hate, that negativity will get so loud at the bottom. And I actually want to show you guys a chart here in a second regarding this. Also, by the way, Messiah, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. How's everything going? This is the XRP Bitcoin pair. So just like I said in my video yesterday, this is where the FUD will be the loudest. This is where the negativity will be the loudest. This is where everyone will say XRP is a scam. Guys, this is the macro trend line on the weekly. So far, we have held this. We've had a wick below it, but it looks very solid from my point of view. This is where we range. This is where we will most likely have a big break to the upside. And the thing that's very interesting about this chart that I've talked to you guys a little bit about is look at the level that we're at, even on the support zone, right? Look at how significant some of these levels on the upside are. Like we're talking about like a 65% to a 95% move on the XRP Bitcoin pair just to get back into demand zones and even support zones that were technically support zones right before the 2021 move, and even the moves back in 2022. So think about how much upside XRP actually has right now once the Bitcoin dominance chart breaks down and altcoins really start to go crazy. Great video yesterday about the Finternet. Hey, I appreciate you. Yeah, there's a lot of big moves happening around the BIS, the IMF, the World Bank, you name it. Check out the Bollinger Bands for XRP. I saw a lot of people actually posting the Bollinger Bands, and it's not an indicator that I utilize all the time, but I did see that it was squeezing quite a bit. I use it mainly on trading platforms and like exchanges. It seems as though, like I said, XRP is ready for a big move. I'll just leave it at that. It's the backtest laying the rails. Yeah, Crypto Airy is the Tokyo Rose of the XRP army. I do appreciate Crypto Airy. $10 super chat from MMP. What's the deal with the Graph GRT? It's the main indexer with low competition. What are your thoughts about continuing to invest in this project? Thanks. I'm actually a very big fan of the Graph. I've told you guys before, I'm pretty sure, that the Graph is actually one of those altcoins that were my biggest winners. It was one of my biggest winners back in 2021. So right around the same exact time that the lawsuit got announced around XRP, the Graph was also in my portfolio. And thankfully, I held on to my Graph, but I sold way too early. I'm just going to be openly honest with you guys. I sold way too early. I sold at around like $1.50, I believe, on the Graph. I would have to go look back. I don't even know. I think I was using, I want to say Binance at the time, but I don't even know if I have access to that because of the US restriction, because I wasn't using Binance US. I was actually mainly utilizing Binance, and I'm pretty sure I was using a VPN at the time as well. But I sold the Graph at about roughly $1.50 or somewhere around it, and I was just kicking myself because I watched it fly to almost like $3. But it is what it is. But I am actually a very big fan of the Graph. I think that's going to be one of those big projects as well. Remember, I love investing into Web3 infrastructure, and I do think that the Graph has been around for a very long time. I think that this could be the data indexer for the Web3 future. Thank you, Nick, for sharing your knowledge and experience. Hey, I appreciate you, Michael, for tuning in. I appreciate all of you for tuning in as well. But yeah, I do think that the graph is definitely a big focus point. I think that's one to definitely pay attention to going into the future. Velo and also Stronghold. So I already kind of gave my thoughts on Stronghold. I'm not a big fan of it simply because of the tokenomics. But hey, it is what it is. It's my opinion. Do I think that it will do good? Yeah, it probably will be. It'll probably do pretty good. There's a big community behind it, so it's definitely one of those altcoins that have a very strong community. It should probably move pretty well. It has utility as well. It's around the Stellar ecosystem. It'll probably do good, but I'm just not a huge fan of it simply because of the tokenomics. A lot of people said like, oh, well, the team said that, you know, this and that. I've always had a big problem trusting teams in this space. I don't like to listen to what the teams are telling me because, again, you can't trust these teams. Now, also Velo. So again, I've heard a lot about Velo or Velo, however you want to pronounce it. Again, the problem here is tokenomics. The chart looks dead, which this is really the time that you want to look into projects is when the chart looks completely, you know, eviscerated. Nobody wants to touch it because when it bounces back, everyone's like, oh, well, you know, I'm jumping into this now. But I'm mainly looking at low supply projects right now. There's a few that I've been really kind of looking into, and I've been really talking about them openly in the public Discord, but also even in the private Discord and the Patreon. One that I'm actually a huge fan of right now is Cryptex. So it's CTX. This is the project. So again, chart looks very similar to majority of altcoins back in 2021. This thing had a monster move in the market, roughly a $23.4 million market cap. 10 million max supply and total supply, about 60% of the supply is already out there. This is what I like to see, right? Like these are the projects that I like to tap into, and it's already on Coinbase, so it has a retail market gateway bridge to it already. So the retail crowd, once they return, this is a project that they could easily buy once it starts to move big, and it's one of those top movers on Coinbase, which means guess what? The FOMO comes in, pushes the price even higher. So I've been focused on projects like this that have a very low supply, very low market cap, can move 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x, etc. But let me check out some of the other things as well here. So let me just check. Thank you, Nick, for sharing your knowledge. I already read that one. What's your thoughts on ICP? I'm just kind of not into it simply because, like, listen, do I think that ICP will do good? Yes. But market cap wise, and I know that everyone hates the idea of market cap, I'm more so focused on those low market cap projects because they will net me the best ROI this cycle. Long term, I think ICP will be a great winner. I think that there's a lot of great information behind it, great team behind it, but the market cap for it is already over, you know, 5.8 billion. Now, a lot of you will say, what about XRP? XRP is already at this massive, you know, market cap. The thing about XRP is, like I've said, I'm betting big on XRP becoming a big piece of the financial system. And there's a lot of connections around XRP, even with Ripple, that are really kind of hinting at the fact that XRP will. Also, remember, XRP is a dark horse this cycle because it didn't really make a massive run back in 2020 into 2021. So it's due for a massive move in the market, which is why a lot of people have been saying, you know, it could go to $20 to $25. But, you know, I do think that ICP is one of those, you know, blue chips in the space. It's one that everyone should definitely focus on for the long-term path ahead. But let me check out some of these other posts as well. Thoughts on Telcoin? Come on. Telcoin is a massive winner. Again, tokenomics for this one are rough, right? It has almost 100, it has 100 billion total supply, max supply, 87%, almost 88% of the supply is already out there. This is one of those projects, like I said, it was one of the biggest winners back in 2021. Now there's been a lot of development happening, a lot of moves being made by the Telcoin team. I think that this will definitely be a solid winner this cycle as well. It's one that I've been holding this for almost 2 years. I bought it back in 2022. I was holding it back in 2021, only a little bit of it though. I wish that I would have bought a lot more Telcoin, but this time around, I will definitely not miss the major train that is, of course, Telcoin. But let me check out some of these other comments as well. There's a few comments. There's so many. It's insane. Been listening to you for a few years. You're right on a lot of the information. Hey, I appreciate that. I try to do as much research as possible. You are part of the solution, Nick, not part of the problem. Hey, I appreciate that as well. Ari buys the rights to the EU to go digital. Get official. Great, good content. Hey, I appreciate it. Smart nodes could replace smart contracts. HSU, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of some information behind that. I mean, I think that smart contracts will definitely be a thing for the long-term path ahead, though. NOIA, I actually heard about that project. It is it's definitely one to focus on. ADS is, I've been kind of avoiding ADS for a bit of time. I don't know why. I just haven't really looked into it. There's so many projects to really look into, so it's insane on trying to like really look into every single project that comes up. And also at this time, I'm not really trying to add to any of my bags. Like majority of my bags right now, I'll even add to them like on significant lows, but I'm not trying to add to my portfolio in a sense. Like I see so many projects come up and I'm just like, my portfolio right now is so diversified that if I add any more bags, it will just be over diversified. So I'm trying not to buy any more projects. I'm not trying to, it's just one of those things. But let me check out some of these other comments as well. Still bullish on H bar? Yeah, 100%. I think that H bar definitely is going to be a huge winner. There's been so much movement behind it. Let me check out some of the other comments here as well. Do I think that XRP can flip Ethereum's market cap in the next bull run? I definitely do think that it can. I'm not expecting it, but I definitely do think that it can. It all depends on, like I said, how much movement there is behind XRP. Also, Utility Maximus just unsubscribed. Hey, it is what it is. Opinions are opinions. If you don't like it, I'm not going to try to, keep you around. Again, this channel is for those who find value in it, and for those that don't, hey, you're welcome to go on your separate path. Doesn't matter. But hey, it sucks to see you go, but it is what it is. Thoughts on reserve rights? It's one of those projects that I've kind of just avoided for a bit of time. Like I said, there's so much out there that it's hard to look into everything. Because as much as I want to look into every single project, as much as I want to, look at every single project and do a ton of research on it and buy and hold everything, it's just hard to buy everything, and it's impossible to buy everything. You can't, like I always say, like pick a solid amount of winners and you'll be solid. That's it. Hey, I'm not censoring you. If anybody's censoring you, it's probably YouTube, because I'm not even moderating the chat. I don't have a moderator in the chat either. So YouTube is just YouTube. It is what it is. I know a lot of people have said like, hey, Nick, you should go over to Rumble, but Rumble just doesn't have the appeal yet. They're not really infrastructure heavy at this current moment in time, but I don't censor anybody. I don't really listen, if you're going to say whatever you're going to say it. Words are words. I don't really care about it. It's just YouTube is YouTube. And what do you expect from a platform that's owned by Google? Let's be real here. So it is what it is. What do you think the total market cap will be in the next bull run? If we're talking about XRP, I think, 500 billion to like 750 billion is a possibility. Rumble censor suit. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really utilized Rumble all that much, if I'm being honest. But we also there's so many comments, guys. I wish that I can talk about, listen, I could probably make an entire live stream just going over every single project that is being dropped in the chat. I mean, let's look at this real quick. So if I came over here to CoinMarketCap, there's 2.4 million cryptocurrencies. I'm sure that every single one of you probably has about 5 to 10 projects that you would love to hear me talk about. There is a million opportunities out there in this space. I can't talk about every single one of them. I can't do fundamental research on every single one of them. It's impossible. But I will say this, all right? Always do your own research. I am just a random person on the internet just like almost everyone on YouTube. All right. And when we really think about that, you can't take everything that I say or anyone says on the internet for 100% confirmation that, all right, this is a good investment, that's a good investment. You always have to do your own research. I try to make things as easy as possible by also doing some deep dives and breakdowns and stuff, but it's so crucial to also do your own research because it provides you with that sense of confidence behind your investment. Because, you know, I could tell you that any project in the space looks good. It doesn't mean that it is. So definitely always do your own research whenever it comes to investing, especially your hard-earned money. It's so easy to, you know, part ways with it, but once it's gone, that's when it really kind of hits you. So I see a lot of posts in here. One of them is, I like channels like yours, let people talk and don't kick people off. Yeah, guys, listen, I'm just gonna shoot it straight with you guys. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I have seen comments that are extremely negative and also extremely positive. At this point, nothing affects me. I am 26 years old. I'm not 6 years old. If you're going to say something, you're going to say it. It is what it is. It's the internet, right? I don't believe in censoring anyone. Like the censorship has been crazy on Facebook, on Twitter, on this, on that. When it comes to my live streams, when it comes to my community, you can say anything, because at the end of the day, I want to hear everyone's opinion. And not only that, but if somebody's going to be negative to me in a respectful way, you know, it could be, hey, Nick, you know, I used to watch a lot of your videos. They were very good, but this one, I don't know, you gotta kind of go back to your old ways, or you gotta kind of change things up. That's constructive criticism in a negative light. That's actually very positive. But if somebody's going to come on here and just spew, you know, hate, low IQ comments, guess what? First off, they're engaging, they're providing, you know, even more engagement to the videos. They're providing me with more views. Why do I care if they're negative to me? It doesn't matter to me. And like I said, I'm an adult. I don't care what people are going to say about me on the internet. It doesn't affect me. But yeah, I see a lot of people. Steven with the $15 or the 15 AUD, sorry, super chat. I appreciate you greatly, Steven. Keep up the good work. Hey, I appreciate you. I hope that everything's going well in life, and I really do. I wish nothing but the best for you, Steven. I appreciate it greatly. See, a lot of people love your work, Nick. Thanks for the hard work. Hey, I appreciate you. DXY106 with it, continuing to increase. How much does this affect crypto? So it's very simple, right? The US dollar index, if it's bullish, risk on assets are bearish. If it's bearish, risk on assets are bullish. So whatever the dollar is doing, expect the opposite in crypto. So if the dollar is pumping, crypto will most likely either range sideways or start to have a little bit of a chop downward. But I expect the dollar to be topped out very soon. I think that's getting close to being topped out. We might have a little bit more of a run up. 110 is the big level in which I look at a major rejection happening on the DXY. Quant is stable. Hopefully it won't drop. Yeah, QNT, I mean, it's been maintaining support for a little bit of time. Quant is one of those long-term projects that I just don't see how it doesn't become a big significant piece of the new financial systems puzzle. Let me see. For me, XRP will be the king of the new financial system. I think that there will be multiple kings. I don't really, like, when I look at the new financial system and some of the major connections, I think that Quant's definitely at the high table, maybe even, you know, the head of the table. Then you also have XRP, XDC, XLM, Casper, HBAR. There's a few great projects out there. Your channel is the best. I'm so confident in what I hold. Thanks so much sorry, there's so much to learn. Appreciate you. Hey, I appreciate you, Desiree. I said that with, hey, love the channel. I'm new to crypto, but hoping to make a lot of money, and you're a big help. Hey, I appreciate that. And welcome into crypto. It's not an easy market to be a part of, I'll tell you that.
good attitude for someone who is 26. Yeah, I mean, listen, we all go through different paths in lives, in our lives, and you know, life will definitely mold you into the person that you are, whether that be, you know, you being 15 years old, 25 years old, or even 50 years old. You are the person that life basically makes you. And, you know, everyone's living a different life. If someone's negative, they're not being negative because they're just a negative person. Life has beat them down, and, you know, it is what it is. I don't, like, when somebody's negative to me, it is what it is. It's not going to affect my day. I'm not going to let it affect my day. It's just something that I don't put my time behind, because you are only given such a small amount of time in life anyways. There's no point wasting it on negativity. But there's a lot of comments here rolling in. Guys, I'm going to put it this way. We are over the 1 hour mark. It has been a very, very good time. I definitely expect to do a lot more live streams. Listen, you guys are absolutely insane. The support is always great. I love coming on here, chatting with you guys, going over some stuff. Going forward on, we're definitely going to have some celebratory live streams, because right now, I know things are rough. I know things right now are... there's just a lot of things going on in crypto that you could easily attach yourself to and say, all right, this is it. I'm done. I'm getting out. I can't do it. But I'm telling you right now, you make it through this last major drop, get through this negativity. I'm telling you, what's on the next side, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And like I said, I hope that we can get to do some more live streams going forward. Monday, Wednesday, Friday will definitely be the schedule if I can do it. I have to wait and see on how things are going to go. It's typically late at night when I can do the live streams, because I have a lot going on during the day. But I'm expecting to do a lot more live streams, and hopefully we can do some celebratory live streams when XRP is at new all-time highs and the market is looking a lot better, because right now I know things are rough. But with that being said, I appreciate you, Stuart, for the additional 10 AUD super chat. I appreciate every single one of you. Every single one of you are absolutely a blessing in disguise for the channel, for myself. And, you know, I'm just happy to be here talking with all of you. Even though I know that you guys are just in the chat, I still look at it as me talking to a group of individuals, really kind of just addressing everyone for what you are. You're not just a number on the screen. You're not just a subscriber to me. You guys are actually, you know, out there watching my content, giving me your time, which is extremely crucial and valuable to me, because time, like I said, is not to be wasted. So I never want to waste your guys' time. But I love to have these little sit downs and really kind of just live stream and talk to you guys openly, not really have a full focus, but, you know, just have conversations, kind of just address what's going on in the space and, you know, what I expect going forward. But like I said, I appreciate every single one of you. And with that being said, I'm glad all of you turned out. Happy for all of the support, the super chats. You guys are absolutely crazy. And with that being said, up that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the beautiful world. And with that being said, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Peace out.